Well, everybody, welcome to our inaugural first-time Signal from the Mountains, the Appalachian Wireless podcast. It's here, hosted by me, Jeff Vanderbeck, publisher of several newspapers. I'm joined today by some very important guests today. I think they're important. You may think they're important. They don't think they're very important, but to me, they're vitally important. And if you have an Appalachian Wireless phone, I'm going to tell you how important these folks are, because without these folks, your phones and the service that you have wouldn't be as efficient as it is. And we have these people to thank for making sure that your phone works all the time. Now, listen, stuff happens. We know that. But for the most part, without these folks here and without all the efforts that Appalachian Wireless does, our phones, our cell phones wouldn't be where they are. So I want to thank them. And I want to thank them for being here. So first, I want to introduce Jamie Thacker. He's our Technical Operations Director. I don't know what that means, but he's going to tell us. And the lovely and talented Kristin Mulcahy is here. She is the marketing director. She is probably doing a little PR work, but we have that big thing going on there. So welcome, both of you. What's going on today, Jamie?
How's it going, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you, Kristin?
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Well, tell me about Appalachian. What makes Appalachian Wireless so special? You're the marketing person. Tell me why Appalachian Wireless is so special to not only to you, but to people like me and to the rest of the folks in the mountains.
I mean, I think it goes back to why Appalachian Wireless was created 30 years ago and the vision of why they chose to bring connectivity to Appalachia. You know, they saw the need years ago that this technology was coming, and they wanted to help bring it to Appalachia and to our region to make sure that our communities stay connected. You know, these larger carriers, you know, they provide the service, but do they make sure that these little haulers and these communities stay connected? That's where people like Jamie and some of the other staff at Appalachian Wireless, that's what makes us unique. Our employees are from throughout our area, our coverage area, and they make sure that those areas are serviced and covered to the best of our abilities.
You said a mouthful right there, and there's a lot of stuff that I want to hit on. So, Jamie, what is a technical operations director, and what is it exactly that you do?
Let me say this. He's the special guy. I'm not the special person. They won't let me touch anything technical or bring anything.
I know the feeling. Look, we had microphone problems, and thank God.
They get to do the smart stuff, and they keep me over in a building by myself. So,
well, I'll say that the technical operations, it is there are some rough days, but there's some fun days in it, and a lot of that is, for me, I've always enjoyed technology. And so getting, to be able to kind of dabble in technology, do that as a job, it's really neat stuff. And I've been very privileged since I've been here to see things progress through the industry and in our company. I mean, when I started here, I was doing pagers.
How long ago was that?
So that was back in 2000, May of 2000 when I started. Right. And again, at that time, it was a one-way pager, and it was a bag phone or a permanent mount phone. And a lot of people won't know what I'm talking about when I say
sure.
That. But to go from that,
where you were to where you are,
it is something to have been a part of. And I feel very blessed to have been able to do it and have some really great people to do it with.
Okay, so both of you two guys just said the one word that's common, people. Yeah. Tell me about your people and why the people of Appalachian Wireless make your business so important and so fantastic, because you guys do great things. I'm going to get into something else too. You probably aren't going to understand here in a minute, but I'm not going to catch you short-sighted. But no. I'm gonna toot your horn later. But tell me about the people at Appalachian Wireless.
Well, I think that's another part of the uniqueness of Appalachian Wireless. You know, a lot of businesses and a lot of carriers outsource things. Appalachian Wireless, we don't outsource. We have customer service. When you call into our customer service bay, you call people that are actually at Appalachian Wireless corporate office or they're work from home. Most of Jamie's team, these guys take the antennas and stuff out to our tower sites. They service these tower sites when we have outages. They're the guys in the middle of the night splicing fiber, fixing fiber. When we have outages, I can speak for Jamie and his team. They're there all night long working to make sure they find the resolve. My marketing team, it's graphics. It's, the digital advertising side of things. We do that mostly. We partner with people to have things done, but we send the strategy and the direction. Our sales team, we couldn't be anything without our sales staff, who are the front line, who intercede our customers, help give our customers the sales, the promotions, the things that they need to help make those purchases. So we're unique in the way that, our executive team, we're all from Appalachia. We're all from this region. Our board, who owns Appalachian Wireless, we're all from this region. I think that's what makes it unique. That's what our passion and our love drives from. We're from this area.
Sure. And that's why it says we are you.
That's
So tell me from an ops side, a technical side, did you ever think that you can have the people as educated as they are working to do the things that you've got 20 years ago? So when you sat there and said, when looking at that stupid pager, now, man, in 20 years from now, I'm going to have a whole computer and this team is going to make it happen.
Right.
Did you ever think about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think I realized pretty early on. And again, whenever I started, much smaller group of people, right? But what I saw was how determined and hardworking our people are.
Yeah.
They want to make it better. They want to make it work. They will figure out a way to make it work. It is that part I never questioned. I always knew our folks, and it's in our blood here, right? We got some really hardworking people, and that's what I've seen over the years. So, no, I don't know that I'd say it surprises me. It's been great to see it, though.
Right. I'm sure it has. You mentioned before, and I told you I was going to put you on the spot.
No.
You and I had a conversation probably within the last 6 months where you and your team have been out traversing the United States, going to seminars and meetings. You told me that people are looking up to you and your team and Appalachian Wireless as a leader of what's happening in communications.
So
tell me about that.
Yeah, so they don't look up to I wish they looked up to me. Unfortunately, they look up to Jamie. Oh,
She said, unfortunately.
I think she said.
He knows I'm joking. I give him a hard time. No, they deploy technology that is so far advanced that some of these carriers, as he likes to say, we bit our teeth on this technology, and he can explain it much better than I can. But they deployed 5G SA, and he's going to explain that. But that is a forefront to 5G and bringing communication to Appalachia. You know, that we could have just deployed 5G and just provided the service we have, but we chose something that was futuristic that would help us future-proof down the line.
Sure. And because of that,
and he's a national award winner.
That forethought. Well, yeah, because of that forethought, what's happening is all these other carriers throughout the country are coming to you guys and saying, hey, what are you doing that's different? And how can we emulate you?
I think, and how he can correct me, I think at the time that they chose to deploy 5G SA, there was only 3 carriers at the time that did it.
At the time, whenever we chose to do the 5G standalone, to Kristin's point, it was just what you would call the big guys.
Sure.
Right. The main tier ones. And even they, I wouldn't say had mass deployed it, even at that time. But I'll say, Jeff, and this is my thoughts. So you're right. We're in this sort of industry consortium, us as regional carriers. And I would say it's a really good partnership we got with all of our industry brethren. Sometimes whenever we go to those events, like you talked about conferences, a lot of times we say they're group therapy sessions. It allows all of us to kind of share the pains, the wins. But I will say we all learn from each other too, right? They are certainly, because we were on that forefront of this 5G standalone, we have done our best to share what we've seen going through that. But, maybe another smaller carrier, one of them I've talked to sometimes is a group out in Kansas. Maybe they're on the forefront of a different side of the business.
Right.
And being able to, and you also got to remember, right, we don't have overlapping areas. There's no competition.
Right, yeah.
So it really is just all of us kind of getting together, figuring out how we as this regional, smaller carrier group can learn and grow from the pain
each other.
Sure, absolutely.
So you mentioned, Kristin mentioned that, when the towers go down, you guys, have you ever climbed a tower?
No. You looking at me, Jeff? I look like a guy that can climb a tower.
You're just the one that says, hey, you got to go up there and do that, fix that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be fair, I want to. They just won't let me.
That's true. You can't do it. You're wearing 9-inch heels like the rock band. You can't climb towers like that.
A hard hat will only do so much, Jeff. But no, but yeah, you're right. There's that.
No. Okay. Sorry.
No. All right. So you are mentioning something that people don't understand. 5G.
Sure.
Okay. Me as a consumer, I hear 5G. Danny Van Hoos, God love him, God rest his soul, was talking about 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, LMNOP, all the alphabet stuff. I don't know what in God's green earth that means. All I know is that every time something happens, I get better service. So explain what 5G is, explain why it's important, and explain to me or to people out here that are in the camera what they need to do to get on 5G.
Sure. Well, you're right. There's been a lot.
Wait a minute, sorry. Did you say I was right?
I did actually say that. And
Did you hear what
Kristin did.
I'm right once?
and it's on film, you know. Yeah, the G's never stop, right? We've been evolving with the G's as they come along, and I'm thankful that we've been able to provide all of that technology evolution to our customers over the years, right? 5G, in my mind, there's a couple things that's important about it, and I'll try not to get too far in the weeds, but the spectrum, and when I'm saying spectrum, what I'm referring to is the airwaves, right?
Gotcha.
The invisible signal that comes from the tower to your device. 5G does make a lot better use of that spectrum, and that spectrum really is the lifeblood of a carrier. It really is. It's the spectrum that talks about the range that you may get from a site to your phone. It's the spectrum that would directly correlate to the speed that your phone may see from a tower, right? That spectrum is very key. So 5G, particularly 5G standalone, the way it's able to take better advantage of that spectrum is just a win for us, because it's a better use of that investment we made to purchase that spectrum, but also our customers. They're going to be able to see that enhancement because it's using that spectrum so much better. The other part of this thing is 5G, the standalone, really what that standalone is indicating, there was a step in between 4G and 5G, and what they called it was 5G non-standalone. 5G non-stand, yeah, it goes.
How do you come to work those days?
It's.
I got a headache listening to you.
It's one of those. I'll be honest with you. I love to learn that stuff. You know what I mean? It's great.
I would rather go right outside on Main Street and have somebody run me over than have to do your job.
But you know what would happen when they run you over? It's going to be that excellent service that's going to call 911.
I'm going to say, not somebody with 5G say, hey, the dummy at the newspaper just got run over.
Actually, if you have the new Apple Watch and you fall, it will alert it for you. So have you upgraded to your Apple Watch?
No, I haven't. That's another piece of tech. Do you understand the technology, how challenged technologically I am? I just got a new Zoom thing today, and I had Corey pulled all three of his hairs out trying to help me.
Sorry, can we teach him how to do some things?
So how does a user know if they got 5G or not?
Well, real quick before we get into that, what I will say too, what I think is going to be important about 5G standalone for us, because that non-standalone really was still piggybacking 4G.
Okay.
5G standalone is completely independent, right? It is its own thing. It doesn't have any necessary requirements for its.
Hence the standalone.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's all that means. So to me, what I think that will do is, because 5G standalone is such a newer, modern version of 5G, it's the best you can get. I think that puts us in a very advantageous place to be able to offer to our customers in the area the latest and greatest things that they're getting in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles. Because here's one thing I think we can all agree on. Our mountains are beautiful. We love them. There is an aspect, right, that we're sort of isolated.
Sure.
I think the technology and what we've seen with technology has allowed that gap, has allowed us to be able to show our hardworking people, our smart hardworking people, that they can compete and do things that
they can do anywhere.
They can do anywhere,
Sure.
And maybe wouldn't have had an opportunity to show that without that technology bridge.
Right.
And that's why I think 5G standalone is going to be able to help. It's going to be able to allow us to have all those pieces, just like anywhere else, to offer and allow this area to have it, take advantage of that.
One of the analogies I read somewhere about 5G is that, when we had like 3G or 2, whatever the number was, we had like a garden hose, and
Sure.
that signal was going through that garden hose. Now the 5G opens up the spectrum from this garden hose to something that we've never seen before, that allows people to have so much instant connectivity, which is a word you guys like to use.
Yeah.
And we have that. So I think is that a fair analogy from going from a garden hose to unlimited access speed.
This is the garden hose theory all the time. He said, "Oh, and a layer cake. Wait till he gets to that."
Well, let me tell you something. I drank from a garden hose when I was younger, and it didn't do any brain damage to me.
There you go.
I did not.
So, look how you turned out.
Not good. Not well.
So you mentioned, okay, so how do people know if they have 5G on their phone, and if they don't, how do they get it?
Go meet that down.
I mean, it's
Certainly can. I will say, there's a few things that's got to happen for a customer to be able to be on our 5G network. One of the things they got to do is they got to make sure that their SIM that's in their device is.
Yeah, there he goes again, using those big words. Yeah.
First of all, you got to make sure your device is 5G capable.
There's, for sure, right there, and our folks can help you with that. Only thing you got to do is come into a store, call into us. We can help with all this.
Absolutely.
The device compatibility, as Kristin mentioned, very important. Having that SIM that can take advantage of the 5G, and the device manufacturers release the software in the phones to enable 5G or not. So you just have to make sure you're on the latest and greatest iOS or Android release. And of course, you do all those things. If you're in an area where we have the 5G signal, your indicator on top of the phone will show 5G. Obviously, again, if they have any issues with that, we're always here to help out, figure out what's going on.
We're going to get into call centers and websites here in a minute, but you've made all these fantastic technological advances that enable the average consumer to be able to be as or more connected than anybody in any flatland larger city. And you've done it without quadrupling, doubling, tripling rates. You've got no control over what Galaxy or iPhones charge. I mean, that's in what days. But you've done it by having, really good rate programs. How on earth are you doing that? And how can, how can what are we telling the consumer? The consumer's saying, "Oh, geez, everything's going up, but my Appalachian Wireless bill is not going up, and you're getting all these upgrades." How are you doing that?
I think it speaks to our board, our executive team. I think it speaks to the objectives and the visions that they have, that it's for our people. I think we don't want to price ourselves in a place where we know that the people in our area financially may not see the larger salaries. And that's part of bringing industry here and the partnerships here to grow our region better. And when you talk about 5G standalone and you talk about the things that it's going to bring, it brings
what a recruiting tool that is for a company.
E-commerce, you talk about e-commerce and autonomy and things like that it's going to allow to happen, and telehealth and things like that could never have happened before without some of these advancements. It really does speak to the love that Appalachian Wireless has for the people of our region.
Sure. Well, that's good. You mentioned the terrain. So,
it's good old mountains.
It's a good old, they're beautiful. We love them. They're great. They're great for tourism. They're great for everything. But we got problems.
Only a cell signal could go through a mountain.
I've been working on that, but it's
not working.
Well, I mean, when you figure out, it's like, what's his name? Fire the Razor, Austin Powers. Are you guys?
I was thinking of like Superman with his laser beam eyes. Like, if we could get our signal to look like Superman's eyes and go through a mountain, buddy, we would have it.
I was thinking more of Austin Powers. I like that better because he fires the laser. You can't remember. Come on, you're not that young.
I remember Mini-Me.
$1 billion. So how has the challenge of the terrain been with signals? And listen, let's not kid ourselves. You're going to be in areas where you're going to drop your call.
Yeah.
So you drop a call, you get to another area 5 minutes down the road, and you pick it up. How has that terrain been challenging for you as an technological operations manager, LMNOP extraordinaire?
Well, you're right. There are certainly challenges. I did.
It's twice.
And again, man, we got all this on film.
He doesn't ever tell me I'm right, so you're lucky.
Isn't that strict law?
He still didn't say it.
It's true. No, you're right. The terrain is tough for sure, right? Because what we have are the mountains and very narrow valleys, right? It's kind of like a guy I remember once said we had to teach our dogs to wag their tails up and down. There ain't enough room to wag them side to side.
Right.
You know what I mean? That definitely poses challenges when you're trying to get this spectrum, these airwaves, into those valleys and hollers. It just is. And so the challenge that we run into is getting those areas covered in the way that we want. And the best way to do that is on the ridge tops, which is why you almost always see the towers up on the ridgetop.
Sure.
They can get that better look down into those valleys. Now, another thing that I think people may know, but it's worth mentioning, is the foliage, right? Whenever there's green, when the leaves are on, you're going to see an impact. That foliage does impact the way that signal can make it through. So there's definitely challenges, but I think we've done pretty good as a team and as a company to try to overcome those as best we can.
I mean, we can talk about the expense that it takes to build those tower sites, to buy the spectrum, to do all that is a huge investment. So, we deployed 5G SA, but we don't talk about the infrastructure that we had to put in place to deploy the 5G.
Sure.
His team had to deploy a new core, had to get new antennas, had to get new spectrum, had to do all kinds of things. Those investments were never passed along to our customers because we knew that we don't want to pass that along. That's something that we're doing for our customers to make sure that they're better connected, better served.
Well, that's refreshing to hear, and thank you guys for doing that. So, if we talked about 5G, we talked about signal, we talked about people, we talked about. Tell me if I'm a consumer and I'm having problems with my phone, what do I do? Do I pick up the phone and call? And what number do I call?
I think that's the one thing we say all the time, and we can't get enough. We want you to call. We read your Facebook posts. We see all the stuff. We read the messages, but we want you to call. We want you to go on the store. His team, he covers a very vast, large team at Appalachian Wireless, but they handle these tickets one at a time. And they make sure they troubleshoot, make sure that they look at the phone line, that they make sure they look at the issue, and make sure that it's not on our side or it. And let's just say you've been in your phone and in the settings and you've turned something off accidentally. If you go into the store, which I wasn't going to point it out, Jeff. I was not going to say that. But let's just say you have, simply just putting that back on and doing an airplane mode or a power cycle will help resolve those issues. I think that's the one thing we want our customers to know, is to know that we have these retail locations and we have our customer service team for those reasons.
Is there a main 800 number or toll-free number to call?
Yes, so call the 800, the 1-800-238-4355.
4355. 800-238-4355. Or go to the Appalachian Wireless website.
That's 1-800-438-2355.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Sorry.
You're dyslexic today. 1-800. Close. 1-800-438-2355.
235.
I had all the right numbers, just all on the wrong one.
No, that's close. You know what? You just I was the same way for me with.
To say it convincing, though, you would have never.
$1 billion lottery ticket. I had all numbers. They were just in the wrong number or sequence.
Well, real quick, I just want to add to what Kristin was saying. The thing I see every day that I'm in the office is guaranteed everybody wants to make sure our customers are taken care of.
100%.
Every single body. The group that everybody, that is their goal. If a customer's having an issue, we are going to figure out what it is. Now that doesn't get to happen in 5 or 10 minutes, but you can better believe that the eyes are on it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to brag on you guys. One of my family members who lives out of town here had a problem, and I called her, Miss Kristin, and she called I think the Pope and the President at the same time, and within 30 seconds, everybody it was all done. It was cleared. I mean, I'm like, this is a major problem. I'm like Jerry Seinfeld. What do we got to do? We're going to have problems. I got to get a new phone. And within 30 seconds, my problems were solved. Appalachian Wireless, www.appalachianwireless.com is our website. You can find any location. You can go to the locations, do anything you want. Mm-hmm. But it's important for people to get their upgrades. It's important for people to understand what's going on. They can do bill reviews on payment plans. I've got great payment plans. We're going to get into it at a later podcast and those kind of things. Guys, I really appreciate you coming here today. Thank you for your insight. Jamie, thank you for your technical operations directions that you're doing.
No problem, Jeff.
Kristin, thank you for doing all the marketing that you're doing. And without you two guys, we wouldn't have, what we've got with Appalachian Wireless, because, you're a homegrown company that started from this. You're going up here and you're doing it modestly. You're doing it behind the scenes, and you're a leader in technology, not only in this region, but in the country. So thank you for hiring local people, keeping everything local, because that's so darn important these days.
It is.
And we just want to tell you. So ladies and gentlemen, go to their website, call 1-800-438-2355 if you have a question or a problem on your Appalachian Wireless cell phone, and they will walk you through making sure it happens. I am constantly on the website because I am just dumb. Actually, I go right down the street and they fix it for me all the time. So again, thanks guys for joining me.
Thank you.
We will see you hopefully in a couple of weeks. Have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year's. I look forward to the more great things you guys are going to do in 2026 and as the Buzz Lightyear said, and beyond.
That's my grandbaby's favorite saying. See? Oh my God, how'd you know?
I know everything. That's my job. And by the way, do you see the stain on my shirt?
Yeah.
I dripped grease or gravy on my shirt, so I apologize for that. Hopefully next time I'll see
Even that cheese sauce on me, so I'll have to say taste.
If there's something on my shirt, it's because I did it.
so no. Again, thanks for your time. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Jeff.
you.